6,914 streams, more than 5,000 listeners in 3 weeks. This is the result of a campaign I've just finished with a client. She had very few listeners before this and she's very happy with the results. I'm extremely happy with these results. In today's video, I'm going to break down a bit of the ad campaign, the entire strategy that we did to get these kind of results so that maybe you can implement the strategy for yourself. And this is what we do here on 11 out of 10. So if you're into these kind of videos, hit subscribe so you can make sure that you catch all of our future content. Let's dive into the video right now. First up, let's just start by breaking down the results. So you can see first up that the song was released on Friday, the 12th of September. This is the first day it actually gets streams. And at the time that I'm filming, it is actually October the 3rd. So it's exactly 3 weeks later, but Spotify's data is a bit behind. So this is in 19 days, these results. So less than 3 weeks. You can see the whole campaign over here. So far, she's had 6,914 streams, more than 5,000 listeners, 1.27 streams per listener, 103 playlist ads, and 132 saves. Overall, pretty good. Before this, my client, she'd actually had only 72 monthly listeners, and now she's sitting at over 5,000 in less than 3 weeks. This is pretty cool. Now, if we look at some of the data, source of streams, you can see how much of this is actually coming from Spotify's algorithm. 88% of her results from Spotify's algorithm, and that is the whole strategy with the ad campaigns that we're doing over here. We're running ad traffic, doing a bit of playlisting, trying to trigger Spotify's algorithm, and here we clearly have. So if we look at playlists actually, in the last 28 days, 4,500 of these streams, basically 3/4 of the streams for this release coming from Spotify Radio, which is one of the algorithmic playlists, and then a couple coming from some other playlists, Discover Weekly and whatnot. So this is kind of the data so you can see the actual results, but let me show you a bit more of the ad campaign, how I went about doing it. So if you look over here, there are 3 little ad campaigns. The budget was very small, only 120 euros. Okay, so maybe about $140 or so at the moment. That is relatively small. Usually if I'm promoting music, it would be about 300 to 500 euros per campaign. So this was a small budget, and the fact that we're able to get such good results makes me very, very happy. And we ran 3 campaigns. The first one, I've done videos about this before, was a playlist ad campaign where we created a playlist and sent ad traffic to this playlist that people ended up saving. Now, this is very good for reasons I've said before, because Spotify learns who else is listening to your music and what music is being listened to along with your music. And within this campaign, we got 113 results, 113 people to click on the ad and convert, get onto Spotify at a cost of 39 cents per result, which is not the best, okay? For some of my own playlists, I can get it down under 20 cents, even under 10 cents, but this was good enough, okay? We didn't have a lot of budget to work with, so kind of had to make it work. And we spent 3 euros per day, spent $44, and that playlist, I actually have it over here. That playlist now has 74 saves. So hopefully people are going to continue to listen to it. People are going to find it. Her music is put in between the playlist, and that was 1/3 of the budget basically directed to this playlist campaign. The other 80 or so euros, you can see the amount over here that we spent, was directed to direct to song ads actually. So before I go into one of the actual campaigns, you'll see that I have 2. Now, the first one you can see is very expensive, 59 cents per result, and the second one is 27 cents per result. I stopped this 59 cents, and this one was only running on Instagram, actually only Instagram Reels and Stories. But for me, over 40 cents is pretty bad. So I stopped that, and then I added Facebook too, and we started getting way better results. So 27 cents per result. And if we actually go through to Submit Hub, we can see that overall, this campaign got 327 conversions, 327 people going from Instagram or Facebook onto Spotify and listening to the music. And when you compare that to the ads manager, it's only 221 for the 2 ad campaigns. So not all of this data is actually being tracked by Meta, as some people opt out of having themselves tracked. So slightly better results than it actually looks like here on the ads manager. But let me show you some more of this campaign so you can perhaps actually copy it and maybe apply this to your own music. We started at 5 euros per day actually, but then brought it down to 3 very small budget, obviously. So first page, very basic. We ran an engagement campaign, the buying type being auction, and all of this is very straightforward as you would run like a normal campaign. Now, we targeted an open audience. Meta's algorithm, the AI, finding the right kind of people has improved a lot, and there's no need to really get super targeted anymore in terms of your target market. Now, this main page, if I scroll through here, you can take a look at the locations, the different countries that we targeted, which I would say is more of a tier 2 approach, keeping out some of the cheaper countries where you do get a lot of clicks, but they don't always get the best kind of results, get the best kind of data to Spotify to trigger Spotify's algorithm. So if you want, you can copy these. Maybe you want to use them for your own campaign. I went ages 18 to 45, all genders. And then here, when we get to the more detailed targeting, I only did Spotify. Now, often in the past, I've defined further, and this song has a kind of a groovy world grooves mood, and I might have targeted some festivals that maybe have this kind of music, or try and hone in on the genre. It has quite like soulful or like groovy, and trying to find keywords around that. But I didn't do that for this campaign at all. I found lately that just this totally broad audience only targeting Spotify has actually been getting me cheaper results lately. You can see all of this. Also, as I said, we weren't getting such good results only targeting Instagram, so I included Facebook, but it's just Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Instagram reels, and Facebook reels. So it's only those 4 placements. Then what I did is I ran 2 different ads basically to compare them against one another. Now, if you want to see what this ad actually looked like, both this ad and the playlist ad I ran for this campaign, I've put that in my Patreon. So it's a brand new side to 11 out of 10 that I've just launched, where instead of paying these crazy prices for courses that you get, you can hop onto Patreon and you can get course level detail, information, behind the scenes sort of stuff where I show you what the actual ads look like, answer some of your questions, and all other little things that I may not share entirely on YouTube over on Patreon. So just a little plug, check that out if you want to see what the actual ads look like and even who this artist was. Find us on Patreon. But back to this video, there were 2 kind of ads. One where this artist was playing with a whole band, and I used that video. She had done a very nice live recording, added some text and stuff over it, trying to push people over. That was the one ad. In terms of the text on this section, I just took a little bit of a line, part of the lyrics from the actual song. I reject all of the kind of AI recommendations that Meta offers me. Obviously, make the call to action, listen now. And then everything goes through a SubmitHub landing page. So people don't click directly from Meta, from Instagram or Facebook onto Spotify. When they click on the listen now on the ad, it takes them to a landing page. And from this landing page, you'll actually be able to listen to the music. Now, I personally always use SubmitHub. The landing pages are really fast. I just love SubmitHub. Fellow South African that runs it, so shout out SubmitHub. But there are many other things, ToneDen, Hyped, all these other platforms that you can also make landing pages from. Most important is that you're able to install a pixel, which is basically the piece of code that Meta uses to track people, so it can show the right people you add so that you actually get results. The second ad that I ran was a very minimal campaign, just given the budget, was the artist just kind of in an art studio singing along to the song, almost a cappella, and everything else was the same as the band one. But yeah, the results were very good. My client seems to be very happy, having gone from 72 to more than 5,000 listeners in just 3 weeks. As you can see in the results, you can see there's a bit of a tail off now since we stopped the ad campaign. Managed to keep it going for about 2 weeks, but on one day the song had over 1,000 plays. I do expect it will tail off like a little bit now, but overall I think her listenership should remain a little bit more consistent, at least for the next month or 2. And hopefully she releases another song, and even if she just puts a little bit of a budget like this one, I think over time Spotify's algorithm will have a better sense of who to recommend her music to. And in the future, I think she'll be able to have a much higher baseline monthly listenership, and hopefully this song continues to get plays as it's now gone to #1 on her popularity. So yeah, that was just a little bit of a case study, obviously, going behind the scenes of an actual campaign that I've recently run with a client. I hope you found it very useful and that maybe you can implement some of the stuff that I've said into your own promotion. Of course, if you want to go a bit deeper, we have a few free downloads. Check them out below the video. And as I said, we are on Patreon, where I can show you a bit more behind the scenes than I got to here on YouTube. But if you got enough from this video, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you at the next one. Goodbye.